What about this guy?
It was a big honking, chromed out heap of more. So this guy, that's a Seeburg 201, which is it's a 1958 jukebox. You can tell because they basically took the 57 Chevy tail lights and made that their grill,
Right.
complete with illuminated red lenses. But I'm a big fan of the Brimfield show in Massachusetts, this massive outdoor flea market. And one year I was walking through there and I heard Patsy Cline kind of bleeding through the din of buying and selling. And I thought, that sounds better than someone's, little Bose Bluetooth pill. So I walked around closer and then I saw this thing and that was it. I had an instant sort of, fall in love moment and also just felt like I'm never going to be able to buy something, buy this in this condition again.
It looks incredible.
It must have been in someone's house because...
Maybe one owner or something.
I mean, there's one melted key where maybe someone put out a cigarette one time.
Well, that adds something to it.
Yeah, that speaks to
and
the
so
era.
What year?
It's a 1958.
Okay.
And it definitely, it's mono, but it's all tube amplified and, all analog. And what I like about it is, it doesn't sound hi-fi, that's for sure, but it has a characteristic of sound that's unique to it and is unique to that era. And for me, it's like you play this thing and you can imagine your grandparents making out in the booth at a diner, and it's like that's what it sounded like. It's not like Elvis was there singing to them. Elvis was coming through a jukebox to them. And
right.
I guess that kind of points at what kind of audiophile I am. I'm not really in pursuit of the absolute sound. I think there's a lot of really good sounds out there to make with your system. And
right. So, but the speakers themselves, those are 215s?
I think, it's two 15-inch Utah speakers and then I think two 6-inch sort of mid-high range speakers.
It's interesting that they doubled them, but it was going to be mono.
Yeah, right? Well, I always laugh that there's even categories in the listing for stereo records, which shows how little people understood what stereo was in 1958.
Yeah, well,
newfangled.
It was
technology.
about to happen. Yeah.
Yep.
It was getting close.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's great. It's every party we have, people love it.
Yeah, I bet. So here are some goodies.
Yeah, this is kind of the pipeline of things that either need repair or just haven't found a home in a system yet. So there's, we've got Scott LK72, really cool amp, but needs a little love.
Okay.
And then Sansui 7900 tuner, which I love the industrial design of this series. The chrome banding is so understated and different from what a lot of companies were doing back then.
It's true.
And then this is actually that's a 902, but this is the SL12 driver that I mentioned. If we can get it. The SL12 was is the driver that was designed to go with the SP10s. And you can see it's this very interesting kind of parabolic cone shape.
Yeah.
Which I haven't really seen many other vintage drivers.
Yeah, I
that
see it
have
in
that.
modern drivers. But
No, yeah, but back then.
Yeah.
So we'll see. When I can find a mate, we'll
Well, I still think
load
you
'em
should
up.
do some mono. I used to
It's
have a
true.
mono system.
Well, now that I have two arms on the turntable, I'm kind
Yeah.
of begging for a low compliance mono cartridge. But yeah, the rest of it's just parts.
Just your workspace over here?
Yeah, sure. It's
over
tubes.
More tubes and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big collector of
Uh-huh.
vintage signal tubes, so
Okay.
I've got my
gloves are
my
nice.
hoarding thing going on.
Cool. So were all these boxes filled with tubes?
All of these ones are. That
Okay.
one's a really crappy record player that I was going to give to someone.
Oh, what's this turntable?
Oh, so that's This is a Rusco Studio Pro B, which is, it was a broadcast workhorse turntable, but I love the design. It kind of shares some of the elements that like the old, RCA transcription decks would have, like this cool sort of gear shift speed control.
And is it belt drive or?
No, it's an idler drive.
Oh,
it's an idler drive. So I've heard some people who've said they've gotten pretty good sound out of them. But I love the design and wanted to own one. It's also incredibly tall. You'd need like a 10-inch thick plinth for it.
I forgot to look underneath.
Big old
Damn.
Bodine motor hanging out under there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually gonna get a reproduction of a gray unipivot tone arm, which was kind of an option that might have been on a deck like that. That was manufactured by a guy named Serge Karmadon in Ukraine.
Let's take a look at the workspace here.
Yeah, workspace and cats.
And cats.
So this is a nice, you can tell it's a real workspace because it's sort of filthy and disorganized, but this is where I do electronics restoration work and build some of the stuff that we've seen so far today. I mean, I've still got these are bumblebees that came out of those RCA amplifiers we saw earlier, and now Jupiter's making a really kind of pitch perfect bumblebee repro, so we put some new ones in because these are known to explode.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, I think understanding and like having some ability to work on electronics is really, for me, living in an era now when it's all integrated circuits and sort of, black box stuff that you can't actually fix. I really like the vintage gear where it's simple and you can pull up a schematic and fix things, and all of a sudden old life is breathed into these
new
dinosaurs.
Life.
New life for old gear, exactly.
Right. Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. This is the Empire that I had back in like 1971 or something. Does that year seem right to you?
Yeah, that's definitely about the era. I'm not sure exactly which year this is, but it's an Empire 598-2, I believe.
It looks so clean.
It's really clean. I found this one on eBay, and it was local pickup from a guy in Long Island. And the problem with these is a lot of them they must have done a crappy job anodizing the aluminum plat, because a lot of them have this crazy corrosion issue, and they don't have the nice smooth gold finish anymore.
Right. I remember the arm wasn't so great, right?
No, the arm's not amazing. I'll be the first to say.
The arm was the weak point of this table.
It's known for having this magnetic lift that infamously would rip the would kind of pull the stylus through the last 5 grooves or so. Yeah, I don't use that, obviously.
Oh, and this Marantz.
That Marantz is, that's sort of the baby brother of another Marantz that I own that's still in California, the 2275. So this is a 2225, which is, obviously lower power. And
but is this like period correct for the turntable?
I'd say so, yeah.
I think so.
I think it's right about the right period. But yeah, this one needs a little restoration. But the one that I have, the 2275, was the first receiver I ever bought, and I found it at a garage sale for about $40 in probably 2002. And recently, nearly had a heart attack when I looked up what they're going for now. They've become incredibly collectible, and I think it's sort of like the poor man's Macintosh in some ways. You can get into the turquoise glow if that's what you're after.
And gyro tuning.
That's right. Yeah. No, that tuner is fun to spin around.
Right. So Jack, this really was amazing. I've done a lot of interviews. I got to say, you're up there in the hierarchy of great interviews I've done.
Well, thank you.
I love your system. I love your home. I love this neighborhood. What is this neighborhood called?
It's called Prospect Park South. It's a super cool, tiny little old Victorian house kind of neighborhood. And a lot of people know it as Ditmas Park, but this is technically Prospect Park South.
Wow. Yeah. I want to live here.
Well,
I'm gonna move in.
We'll see if we can get a rental agreement going.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway.
At least I know you won't object to washing machine sized speakers in
Right.
the living room.
Or say,
Play,
turn down
played
that
at high volume.
turn down that racket. It's too noisy, too
That's
loud.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you again, Jack.
Thank you, Steve.